Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the council meeting of the Brightlingsea Town Council on the 17th of July 2025. Good evening, everybody. Apologies for absence.
Apologies from councillors Howard and Stevie.
Thank you. Members, we have the minutes of the meeting of the 19th of June in front of us. Are there any issues of accuracy that you'd like to bring up? No? Okay then, so can I have a proposer and second of those minutes? Thank you very much. Okay. All in favour? Thank you, that's unanimous. Item number 3, Mayor's announcements. I don't really have anything to add other than to congratulate the people, the students at the Colne Community School for their awards, and to a certain extent congratulate their parents as well, who all attended. And I was very impressed by the parent attendance of that meeting, which was 2 to 1 for every child, and it was rather crowded at some points. Well, congratulations. There's no questions on that item. I'll move to item number 4, which is the declaration of members' interests. Do you have any declarations? Thank you. Moving on therefore to item 5, and report from our county councillor, Alan Logan. Alan, you want to come up here and say? Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, sit here.
Yeah, please do.
Evening, everybody. Try and be quick because I think we're going to get on and watch the football. I've circulated my notes, so thanks for this. I haven't had any questions or queries. A couple of the big items which are going to cause some problems here in Brightlingsea. Item number 1, yes, Tuesday was a full council meeting, and the largest discussion point was around the A12 extensions, improvements, widening. The bottom line is that normally big road issues like that take a bit of time to get to fruition. This is 5 years in the discussion stage, with everybody taking part. And the complication is what's come back. It hasn't come back as right. We won't do it now. It's come back as a cancellation. We won't do it at all, which sounds really bad, because the A12, whether you use it or not, is a key part. At one end you've got places like Harwich and Lowestoft, and the other end you've got Gatwick, and you've got it's a real problem. So there's many discussions going on with central government, but the decisions need to have been made. So that's that. I've had a couple of questions about the St Moses Priory potholes. Again, I took it to myself following a couple of accidents I heard about. I took it upon myself to escalate it to an emergency, and it was quite pleasant because someone came out in 2 hours, and they've identified. They're trying to identify some time for the work.
Oh, identify the pothole.
Oh no. More trouble identifying the smooth bits.
Yes.
It was put to me that part of the problem is the traffic control there this time of the year, full on season, and then you go and say, well, if you just have but that's not forgotten. Marines Crescent, just quickly, I've got a good relationship with the water board that came back, and again, to be fair, the emergency system popped in when it was subsidence. The bollards turned up, and again, to be fair, the water board acknowledged it was their concern, and they've done a complete rebuild underneath. Again, like all things, whenever there's subsidence, there's normally a reason for it. They found what the reason was, and repaired it, so they said. I thoroughly enjoyed a meeting with the PCSOs here in Brightlingsea. Number 6, the speed and volume survey that you kindly paid for has gone to ENT, and hopefully you will have a chance to see it. And I believe it will give you a feeling of what's going on. The thing that absolutely amazed me was the volume. I expected quite a lot of the things to be as they turned out, but on the 7-day volume, there was 28,000 journeys. Well, if you divide that by 7 and multiply by 365, that's 1.46 million journeys up and down Ladysmith in a year. And I just found that just very difficult to understand. But again, it's a sign of things. I got asked to chase up the Brockley cycle path. That's been done. The local highways panel held its first meeting for some time, and I just let you know the hedgehog wild animal signs got the nod. I don't really know, we agreed 3 sites. It's not just, I think initially it started life as 1 site, but it's now 3 sites.
It's always been 3 sites.
So,
It's always been 3 sites.
okay. And they picked up zones, so they're saying this is a dangerous area. So, whereas previously most of the things I've seen has been a sign with the hedgehog on, what we've come up with is a hedgehog sign as you come into the zone in that way, and a hedgehog sign facing the other way as you come into the zone that way. So it's 6 signs, 2 of which have got to be replaced. So that's that, and I think to be blunt, that's where I am.
Thank you very much, Alan. Thank you for being so brief. Questions?
Sorry, could you just clarify that for me, please? Because it's always been 3 signs at 3 locations that have been needed to utilise poles. Have things moved on and not? I don't know about that. 'Cause I think the last
There are
time
some
we
things
saw-
going that is a surprise to me.
Yeah.
So this is the planning department. I've got a feeling it's to do with the latest act of some sort. I don't hold me to it. But whereas previously, I definitely was under the impression, and I saw some pictures, I think you may have sent them somewhere in Wolverhampton or something, is that a hedgehog sign went up. It was a hedgehog sign. And you were meant to sort of, around it, you were meant to be careful. The new system is if this is a road, and this is a bad area here, in order to catch as much as possible, as you come into that area, and if you look at my church road, it starts about 100 metres before the crossing. And as you come into it from Brighton's end, you can't be under any illusion as you go in, you're entering a zone. My hope is that it's a good thing for the hedgehogs. I think it's a good thing for other animals, as it happens. But equally, I think it's a good thing to have separate warning for people that it's a dangerous collision type of area. So I'm hoping it's going to have a subduing effect. So the one coming in Church Road is about 100 metres. The one in Ladysmith Avenue goes down to from the corner of Ladysmith Avenue down to the dentist surgery, and the other one is from Belfield Avenue Junction in Chapel. So we only need 6 posts, but 2 of the posts are on.
Okay, fine. Matt, did you have?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought you. Sorry.
Is there any update on the no entry sign at Victoria Place that I photographed?
You wouldn't want to know what I'm sorry about that.
All right, so can I add another part? In the last 48 hours, we've had 3 cars go down the runway.
Okay. Can you put that in the note to me?
Yeah, and also, which we might have to report through Julie, outside John Lucas's, the part of the path that's been built outwards into the road,
Oh, with the little bollards on.
no bollards on at the moment, I don't think.
Oh.
They've gone, so I think that bit is what we need to report.
Okay.
But twice, the cars are coming round there quite fast and driving over it, which is fine.
Well, over the
Yeah, they're not going round it, they're now deciding to drive over it. and I know John and Caroline have been monitoring it and had several that they've got. So
If
I
you've
think,
got, if you've got dates and occasions, send
I
it to me
did
so
ask,
I
but
can.
I think the first thing we might have to do is to report the bollards and this.
So the bollard's been knocked down?
Years ago, they were reported, I believe.
Yeah,
years
Oh,
ago.
okay,
long
so
time.
not
Yeah.
recently then?
No, they've been
Okay.
missing, but now they're just driving straight over it.
Okay.
Okay.
So will you make
I'll
sure that
send- I'll
I get
send
that
them-
via June?
Yeah, I'll get you to send it over.
Could you just, say what the maintenance is going to be on the cycle path, please?
I haven't really liked the research, just I can't remember it yet. I think Matt will know. There was some sign written, stop me if it sounds wrong, there was some signs written in the road, on the cycle path. I think it's slow.
Yeah, it's mainly more shared use cycle path, pedestrians and cyclists. There's some markings on there that tell cyclists to go a particular way, but the issue got raised in the first place by a gentleman who had memory issues, and he couldn't remember. He was getting shocked by people cycling on there, basically. And yeah, the easiest way was to reinstate the white lines, and that's what I'm hoping has been done.
It hasn't been done yet, but it will.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So the good thing is it's not bringing in something new, it's saying we're concerned with there. So that comes from a different, that's a maintenance budget, which is sometimes easier than anything else.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? So if I were, I'll suspend the meeting for a moment to allow the public, if they have any questions for us. Mr. Gentleman back there.
I'll go first. Lorraine's present, you just mentioned, on your Facebook post, you said, I have advised the excellent town council system administrator. It's a shame that nobody has reported it there. Why is there an extra level of bureaucracy in this? Why isn't it just, it's a roads issue straight to Essex? Why do we have to involve IT?
That's a good question. Unfortunately, it's a situation where, particularly in my, and most of the other councils will have the same issue, is that people stop you in the street, people say to you, what about this? Can you organise this? And for maintenance and repairs, there is a very straightforward reported site. And I'll give you an example. I can tell you now, at 1:30 yesterday, a lady from Arsenal phoned me and said there's a subsidence outside her house. It was a water drain. And I said, have you phoned the emergency number? And she said, no. And she was a bit elderly, she didn't fancy doing it. So I went on site. I happened to meet Gary Scott on site, as it happens. We phoned through because it wasn't big, it was small. And I got through it took 7 minutes to get through, but within 2 hours they turned up. So the beauty of the system here is that the council know what's going on. Julie is absolutely first class. Julie's on first name terms with more people at highways than I am. So
What concerns me is we're paying double, aren't we? We're then paying an administrator at Brightonsea, we're paying you, we're paying Essex, we're paying triple. We know if it's roads, it's Essex, why do we have to include Brightonsea? If a councillor gets stopped and says, do you know about the pothole? They'll say, it's roads, it's Essex. I don't see why there's a need.
all I can tell you is the system, it's the same all over Essex.
Doesn't make it right. Why?
Because the alternative is to do what?
It's Essex.
Sorry, if I interrupt, I don't think we're in a position all the time to go into a conversation. Maybe you'd like to talk directly to Alan outside this meeting on this subject, because obviously don't think he has the answers you want right now. Do you have any other questions to ask?
I do, but I'll let the gentleman go first.
Yes, carry on.
Well, it's a devolution. As you know, that you put forward accounting for Essex to be divided into three. Is that right, Alan?
3 or 4.
Well, okay.
It was still up for debate on Tuesday.
So
And don't forget, whatever we put forward
Yeah.
is
what
the
I
decision.
want the information, is, can you're having a selected survey for the whole of Essex, 1,400 people. Can you find out how much it's going to cost and how many people in your patch are going to be selected, or these focus groups? Because it's the big thing that you're going to put forward to government, and
Okay.
that would be, well, obviously you don't know that tonight, I don't expect. Now, when you say 4, well, 4 is being led by Thurrock. They're putting forward the business plan, and they are how many billion in debt?
Lots.
And you're running it, so that doesn't, well, that's, to me it's a joke, but that's another story. And then you come to the other thing, Southend are having a survey, and they're dealing with all the district councils. I don't know whether Councillor Barry or anybody else from tendering. This survey finishes on the 20th. If you fill it in this afternoon, they had 5,500. The population of Greater Essex is 1.8 million. Now, this seems to be a little bit patched, but that's all I want to know. I won't say more, but you come back to me on that. But
I do my best.
nobody
I will make the point that whatever Essex decide, whatever tendering decide,
Yeah.
they will. The decision is not made by us.
But as I say, Thurrock is a joke. You
Well,
can't- that is a joke.
I agree with you, but again, the decision is
No, no, I
the
realise
decision to be in this position wasn't correct. And there are 17. There are 17 councils in Essex, all who have been unified. And I think you've sat on a couple of the committees, I'm sure.
17 councils.
Yeah.
So if just one other point, if you
It's
if we take
15 plus the 2, isn't it? 15 plus
12 districts, 2 unitaries and a county.
Anyway, so
but if you take Uttlesford, which if that was 3, they've got a debt according to Gary Scott, who's very well informed and getting ready to be putting up in 2028. He tells me that he's going to put up for Liberal Democrats.
Yeah,
So the thing is, they're £500,000 in debt. Now we've got to take that debt on. I take it.
we're drawing very few red lines, but one of the red lines we have is debt. It's my understanding that the debt is being talked about individually, and again, it's my understanding that anything that will wipe out the Thurrock debt will come from central government.
Oh, that's all
Now,
right.
whether you like that or not, it's still your money.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's just coming in from a different direction.
Yeah, that's all I want to know. Thank you, Alan. If you can that's price.
Thank you. You have another question?
Just one more. Snowsford bypass, you've already mentioned, I brought it up, or somebody brought it up last month. You've already mentioned it in your report. Really concerned about no action at all has been happening on this. Would it be worth you to do a Freedom of Information Act request to find out how much money is being paid out to all of the repairs? Because I'm sure we all know someone that's had a wheel burst or something on that potholes. It's a death wait to happen, isn't it? And I don't think it's been taken seriously enough.
You may not like to hear this, but it's taken seriously enough by me. It's on my report. It's been given a new number. I don't get to choose what works are done.
You must have some influence. Then what's the point?
Belfield Avenue, I have influence.
I think Robbie was trying to say there's potholes between Martin's Farm and the St Others bypass.
There are lots.
And there's quite a few. Essex County Council must be under commission from garages for making car repairs.
Could be thousands. And if you knew what that figure was, surely that gives you some influence.
Freedom of information reports cost a lot of money every time. I'm very happy to do freedom if I think that there'll be a meanings to an end. The meaning to the end is to get somebody out there, as there was there on Monday, to look at the site. That will get some action. A freedom of information won't stop anybody driving into a pothole.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've got to pull a line under that.
I just wanted to ask, what happened to your list of things that you could prioritise? Is that, you can't do that now?
Okay, if you have a look at my reports, as parish to list top three each if you want, remember small van in coal time, quick repairs and make sense. So I'm telling you, it's there.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering, can somebody put it through to you as their top three?
They haven't done that.
They haven't.
No, they did do Point Clear, and they did get Point Clear done.
I'm surprised they've not
Yeah,
done
right.
it. That's, I'd have that on the top of my list.
So
Do
if,
you want us to know it next time, then?
I was going to say, so if we reported it to St Isaac Council, would it then get done?
Sorry, it's going to get done. It's gonna
No, I
get
mean,
done.
as in if we reported it, would it get put to you to be done?
Well, you want to put it on your list?
No, I'm just wondering if there's a way around it that we could report it on to them.
We report a lot of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we report these, it doesn't prioritise it.
Oh, okay.
Matt?
Can I just make one small correction about the freedom of information requests? They do result in action. So I did one this month for the work that had been done up at Bell Green. It was resurfaced about 5-6 months ago, and then about 2 months ago a pothole started to develop on it, where the work had kind of deteriorated. I put an FOI in to ask how long that work was guaranteed for, how long work is generally guaranteed for. And they came back and said it's guaranteed for 12 months by the contractor, and they'll send someone out straight away to go and fix it, and they did actually fix it within a week. So it's a bit wrong to say that FOIs don't work.
Can I just this office, through Julie and Tracy, reported the same thing way before you.
It's great, it's really good.
It is.
Okay,
Then
I'm
you
gonna-
have
As
to
I said so many times, the issue is not reporting, the
No.
issue is the lack of action.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to move this
Yes.
on. Alan, you can come back on that, maybe privately to him, and answer to the council if you wish so. Okay? I'd like to move on next.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alan. Thanks for your time. If I can therefore move on there, now to the, reports from the district councillors. Obviously we have, Graham is away at the moment, so can I ask
Nothing to add really. Take any questions?
okay, any questions? Thank you. Okay, Jane?
I just want to, and this is going to come up later in the meeting anyway, is working on the enforcement. So it's not actually done because it's continuously
Planning enforcement.
being worked on, but that will come up later in the meeting, so.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Sorry, just one more thing, I've just seen it here. Did you, the meeting about the EV charging points?
Yeah.
Have you got anything to come back on that one?
Yeah.
Because obviously I've been working on that as well, so how are you getting on with that?
There's a proposal from the county council to install, or to look at installing EV chargers in, district council car parks. So they've looked at this one, down from, Terrace Street. The difficulty is that this is a government scheme and that it's covering all the districts in Essex, so they're looking at all the district car parks. And the charge levels that will be available are from 7 to 22 kilowatt, and you have to sign up to a 15-year contract. And there's no revenue involved for the district council. You have to give the installers the 15 years lease on the car parking spaces. Initially, there was a very tight turnaround, and the approval in principle had to be in by, I think, the 12th of July, something like that. And we felt we didn't have sufficient information about the implications of LGR for those contracts, so that potentially you could have a contract here for 15 years, committing whoever to maintain that contract, regardless of cost. And the firm, there was too many grey areas. So what's happened is I've asked for the officers to do a much more thorough report, and we will revisit the whole proposal probably at the end of this month. So
Okay, 'cause obviously
keep informed.
Pete's already been in to do a presentation where he mentioned that we could make some sort of money from it.
Yeah. Well, I
I
think that's
don't
a decision for the
understand.
town.
I mean, yeah, that's fine, but obviously I need to keep him in the loop because he's working as well on it.
Well, I think this is a county-wide scheme which would be almost nationally rolled out by a significant contractor, presumably achieving big economies of scale.
Yeah, I get that. Totally understand that. I just need to keep him in the loop because obviously if he's doing work that is unnecessary and you're already putting him in anyway.
Well, I don't know what work is he doing.
He was looking into sites where he can put the EV charges into lighting, see, because there isn't any. Which
So
obviously I put forward to council.
He's not spent any money, he's not done any
No, he's
installation.
he started doing all the looking into things and getting all the land registry and all of that. It's fine. I just need to know. So if he's wasting his time, I need to let him know.
I don't think he'd be wasting his time. I think we're the councillors
It's
asked
fine.
him to come back to
Yeah.
us with his proposals.
He
Which
did
is what
come-
we're waiting
I
yeah,
think
he
it's two
come back,
separate
yeah.
things, it's the town and the district.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think you're,
No, it's fine. I just want to keep him in the loop.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then look at the districts as a separate, because they're on different guidelines.
No, I think he
Okay.
mentioned this one and the beach one.
Yeah, okay, well, you'd have to get permission.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's just I just need
Yeah,
to keep him
no, I
informed.
mean, that's only just come up
Right.
last few weeks.
Okay, is there any questions for Jane? No? Okay, so I think we'll therefore, thank you both of you. If we therefore move on to the team's reports and the facilities and community assets.
Thank you.
Yes, I know.
So
Do you mind if
the
I-
meeting was held.
I'll have to see those.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex, for coming.
Yeah.
Give him
Okay.
my regards.
Sorry?
Give my regards.
Meeting was held on the 8th of July, and there were quite a few recommendations from it. I don't know if everybody's had an opportunity to have a look at them, but if I pick up probably the most pertinent ones, and then everyone has a read through recommendations. I think the first one was in relation to the waterfront development strategy. Councillor Morgan briefed everybody, but we agreed to make this an agenda item for the next meeting, as we need to find out what the harbour commissioners are going to decide whether they're going to go ahead with it or not. The hard and the boat park were discussed, and I think there was some figures put forward to finance to get rid of the Japanese knotweed. Yeah.
Yes.
Bateman's Tower. Again, there was some discussion about Councillor Atkinson, Councillor Morgan and the grounds manager going down and meeting with Lisa Harden, the project manager, because we were supposed to have a monthly update, and there's yet no update been received. I don't know whether that's changed.
We did have the meeting and it was quite productive, and Mr. Parmenter, I think Mick would probably agree with Terry, with Dave, he was very forthcoming and seems to understand this type of building, and seems to have the confidence of Lisa, and promised us a monthly update, and we are hopeful that they will need to come back to us for planning permission and go to tendering for planning, but it looks like it's going to start. I don't think it's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 months, but certainly in the next year we shall see that hopefully done and completed. They're talking about lifting the whole structure by 0.5 metre,
literally making a solid structure underneath by concrete or whatever. So it will never become a floating restaurant ever again, and probably have a bund wall around it to protect it from the seawater. Anyway, Dave might like to fill this
Not
up.
just to say that enabling works are due to start in September, which is very far from now.
Yeah.
So we'll soon see what happens at that time.
But we are expecting a monthly report from Mr. Palmer.
Okay. Moving on, the leases side of things was discussed, particularly runs in Leisure Village, and leases in general are going to be moved over to the subcommittee on the finance team, for them to discuss going forward in the future, so like part of yesterday's agenda. Lower Park and Western Promenade, Councillor Steady briefed us on the fact that the Western Promenade is now, or it's been discovered that it's an adopted public highway, which makes a bit of a difference to things like the lighting. Councillor Howard's been trying to sort out for 5 or more years, so she was going to take up the council again and see if we got that evidence. It was also agreed that we'd compile a list of all the issues with cars, criminal damage, vandalism, etc. that's taking place down Western Promenade. For you to discuss it with Sergeant Pearson, to look at dispersal orders if that's a possibility. And I think there's a meeting with the Chief Inspector on the 24th of July that we're going to raise some of those concerns with. Lower Park Planning Fields, Councillor Atkinson talked about the topographical survey, and we agreed for a recommendation that £950 should be requested from finance to take that forward further. But we also agreed that we'd hold back on putting forward for any money for Western Promenade until we actually knew what work needed to be discussed. Little Remembrance again was one of Councillor Steady's proposals. It was agreed that he would come back to us with some proper costings. Again, the basketball court was another one that we would need some proper costings for, but we agreed that should come out of 106 monthly if possible. Councillor Steady spoke about the lozenge, and again, it was agreed that an application for £10,000 from 106 months would be submitted.
Can I just correct that, because I don't think an application can go in until the quotes are available.
Okay.
So I think
So roundings,
chicken and egg.
costings
Yeah.
first. The town council survey, that's one that we agreed to go forward to Homestead with you to release it across various partners and on our website and on our newsletter. The community centre, myself and council report are down and visited the community centre because there were some concerns about potholes in their car park. Councillor Atkinson was kind enough to look at the lease for us, and it's actually something that they need to repair. It's not down to us to repair. I can't remember the term for the lease.
So full repair.
Full repair release, that's it. Report from Terry, the grounds manager, about Boating Lane. Unfortunately, we've not had much success in trying to get rid of the algae with the steps that have been taken so far. So it was agreed that we would send a letter to the Model Boat Club and the Scouts advising them not to use it until we tell them otherwise and that it's safe to do so. Terry's got some plans and ways to try and get rid of it, but we've had no success today. So there are various recommendations there.
Any questions?
We're talking about the police, and perhaps we need to inform the public as well. The agreement was that if we had any questions for the police, that we'd let Tracy have them, particularly if they're ongoing ones, so we don't have to duplicate what we've already talked about, but we want some answers on. And for the public, they're then going on a walkabout between 1 and 2. And then they will be back here to meet with members of the public from 1 to 1:30 or 2 o'clock. 2 to 2:30. 2 to 2:30, that sort of time. So, and it will be the district
Margaret Chief Inspector Austin.
Chief Inspector that will be here. So if anybody wants to come and talk to them, their time will be from 2 o'clock.
Thank you. Any other questions? No? Thank you. So you have the recommendations in front of you. I presume you're proposing them. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Do we have a second there? Councillor Cole,
Owens,
yes. Okay, second. All those in favour? Thank you, carried. Thank you. So moving on then to the environmental and transport report, please. Do we have was anybody present at that meeting?
I was for half of it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, I don't mind going through this. It's pretty much as in that, in the notes on there. So, which was basically about, the Bramble Brigade, public rights of way thing, that is really quite a difficult form to fill out, so I'm having to admit defeat and ask for reinforcements to fill that form out, so we're going to do that. We had a bit of discussion about the 2020 estate agent boards, and it was decided in the end that we're going to delay that a bit until summer's out of the way. Speed and volume survey results, we're going to ask to then, there's loads and loads and loads of data on this, and we've got loads and loads of data of ourselves. So what we want to do, we want to ask Alan to, if it's okay for us to share the Essex data with Telden, so that they can compare and contrast, then come up with their own materials. Be much better than us trying to do it. So I think one of those recommendations is to ask Alan if that's okay.
Matt, just before we go forward, is it worth sharing some of the highlights of that report and put it from here, or is it?
If I had it to hand, we could, but I haven't. So no.
I had a word with Alan just before the meeting. So having had a report which you heard actually calculated something like 1.4 million people drive up and down that road each year. The amount of the percentage over the speed limit was about 7%. I'm guessing this, but about that. But when you allow for how the police now operate speed limits, they allow 10% above plus 2 miles an hour. So in the case of the 30 mile an hour limit, that makes it 35 miles an hour. If you then took that into the calculation, there was about 1.1% of the people that travelled up and down were over that speed limit. And if you look at the really excessive ones, which Alan and I did, which was the 60 mile an hour one and the 55 mile an hour one, they were actually police cars and an ambulance. So when you look at it, the actual people going down there excessively that the police could do anything about was about 1%. So I'm just that's the bare statistics that we took out of it as a snapshot. But there, I think it needs further development.
Can I just make the point that we do very much recommend and hope that all traffic carriers below the speed limit, not to extend it over the.
Yeah.
It's not a license to go over it.
No, absolutely not. But on the objective of whether and what we can do about it, the actual number of people that the police would stop or could prosecute for speeding down there was less than, I think it was about 1 or just less than 1%. So that's the highlight for the report to date, but as you say, it needs much more detail because it was literally reams of stuff, and that was the headlines that they produced. Sorry.
That's right. And then parking on Strangers Corner got discussed again, and I think Jean was going to ask you, Mick, if she can go along to the net meeting to discuss it.
Yeah.
No entrance signs, we've mentioned that earlier. The overgrown vegetation letter, I know there is a public question about this later. Chris, that's the question I was talking about earlier. And Kerry was going to let the co-op have details of the, he can be charging. He would go off and let co-op have those details if these are that million. And then lastly, we were talking about bin stickers, where basically we want to put an application into finance for £250 to buy 100 stickers and a label printing machine so that we can get some actual instructions put on bins for when they're not emptied, so people know how and where to report them. Wildlife signs we've spoken about, and the other bits and bobs were all taken forward to the next meeting, apart from Colin McCrow. And my erstwhile colleague, Councillor Mitchell, will talk about that now.
Sideways.
Yeah, we've got some costings for, I think I initially said 12 signs, but to be honest, I don't think we need 12 signs. I was amending the signs slightly to make sure that we include responsible disposal of cladding equipment. I've been down to the Harbour Commission's office today, they're very happy with what I'm rejecting. In fact, they told us where they'd like it, so it's viewed as down the jetty. They also made inquiries about whether it's possible to have a bin put down there for people to dispose of their crab and stuff. So, I think, there was some concerns as to where the signs would be going, and we're not proposing that the signs would go in shops. They'd just be posters that we put up in shops that are actually selling the equipment. The signs would be at the locations where people were crabbing. So I think we could probably go for half a dozen as opposed to a dozen, to bring the costings down slightly, and that needs to go back to finance.
Finance to discuss this, and we'll obviously come up later, but what you just said is exactly what we felt. We weren't quite sure how many signs, we didn't have too many signs, we don't want to sign city. We thought also the responsible disposal of crabbing lines was also something you ought to look at. So we've asked you to go and look at it again.
Would it be Brightsea Town Council that would put a bin up on the course? Or you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're very happy to have the fact that they've asked, I spoke to some people going.
Yeah,
Deputy who said they'd asked for it on previous occasions, but the whole wasn't something that we could facilitate. And I said, I'm not entirely sure.
We have been trying to do this for the last 3 or 4 years, but we've always failed at the last minute of finance. The time being that we wanted to go forward with the other type that gives us a mimicry of the code of cracking. So they can do that in conjunction with the signs and everything like that. They were cheap when we last looked at them, but it has always failed at the point of finance.
Why don't you just get a smaller bin or something cheaper?
Yeah.
You just need a proposal.
I suggest you take it back and give a proposal. Any other questions?
Yeah, just a question on the, well, firstly, apologies for absence, you got normally saying I did actually put in my apologies.
You did, I do apologise.
Because you actually caught it in.
Yeah, sorry.
And I think I'd just like to propose that maybe in terms of reference for these things meetings need to be looked at, because I did put an email in, obviously I couldn't be there for a family reason. And I said, having voted the previous meeting, and then I said, but I have my support recorded by whatever means appropriate. Well, that wasn't, it wasn't recorded. So it's obvious that we do need to look at that in the terms of reference in the groups, maybe by, I'm not saying, if you have a substitute or a member, but, that was quite a clear example of me expressing a position that was ignored. So, and then the chair had to use a casting vote, I understand, to finalise the vote. So I think something we probably need to look at in terms of reference of the teams, as to any potential substitutes or proxy voting. I don't think there's often a vote where it does need that sort of type of person. So perhaps I could ask for that and take forward by the clerk.
Yeah.
Can I speak?
Yeah. Just yes.
I would just like to say, if that's going to happen, what's going to happen about the people that turn up just to vote and then you don't see them again? Because, I don't need to be funny, but there's people that come to meetings when it counts, when quite clearly they want to influence a vote, and then you're not seen again. And I'm sorry, but I don't understand how you can be part of a committee and not turn up to the meetings. I have to work, the meetings can be at like 10 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm still trying to get to them. There's people that are on the committee, they turn up just to do a vote and then don't come again. So,
I think that's a separate issue to.
Okay.
No, it's the same. It's not. It's the same as what you're saying. You're saying you want to vote when you're not here, and he's saying he wants to vote when he comes along, or whoever it is, and then doesn't come to any of the meetings.
Okay, I think what we're going to do, sorry,
So one more kind of follow on to that and that actually is what's our standing orders in terms of remote voting for full council?
I was going to say, I mean, I think I take Nick's point and I take your point, Terry, as well, and I think that's exactly what we've got to do. So I suggest that we take like the chairman of each one of the groups, so that's the official groups as well as the team groups, get together and make sure that these policies are written out properly and make sure they're part of the terms of reference of each one of the groups.
That kind of, that core policy should be the same as what it is for full council.
Exactly, well, that's what I want to do. That's exactly what I want to do. Yes. Sorry, Kerry.
Another thing as well, it was quite clear that deputies weren't interested in when it comes to the committees. But what happens when the actual chair is away and then we're sat here not knowing who's going to speak?
Okay, and that's something that will be put on this exactly, because there should be,
Because it's ridiculous.
there should be a designated process for this. And I'm sort of surprised there wasn't, and what we need to do is make sure there is some meeting. So we'll do that as a matter of
I
urgency.
just found it a little bit unfair, because obviously I wanted to be deputy.
Yeah.
It was quite clear that it wasn't something that maybe the chair wanted, and then if the chair's not here, I just,
I take your point entirely, and I think as a matter of urgency after this meeting, we'll arrange for each one of the chairs to meet. Okay, and we'll actually get that process and make sure that matches what we, in our own mandate.
and just to let you know, I won't be putting myself forward for the deputy.
Okay, thank you. Okay. If there's no other, that was all ENT.
Yeah. So propose those. Do I propose them or
You do propose them, can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Kate. All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried unanimously. I'll move on then to the welfare and resident services.
Unfortunately, we haven't got the diabetic eye screening report in because the lady took it was the one and we didn't get the report. But I just want it community that a lot of welfare, I can't report it for obvious reasons, but it's been a manic 2 weeks until, no, 2 weeks since I come back from holiday with welfare, and I just want to thank Julie.
Okay.
Every day we've had something we've had to work on.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I think with your permission, we'll put that in the minutes. The council would like to thank Julie and Jane for all the work they've put in on that issue over the last few weeks. I don't, as there isn't any minutes, I don't think we need to. I'm also remiss, there has been a communication and tourism meeting. I did not attend the tourism meeting. John did. Do you want to mention anything about it?
Yes, I will. The majority of the tourism meeting, the TAP meeting, the Upper Tourism TAP, was taken up from Terry Show, which unfortunately I wasn't able to attend this year for the first time, but it was, thank you for attending.
No problem. Very much enjoyed it.
Thank you. I've had feedback from some of the people out there, Margaret Stone and from the High Street representative, that it was really, really, really the best of it. So 21,000 people came to the game, it was great. Communications Chair, as you know, the next communications meeting is 31st of July, where we will discuss these items that have come up from the rest of the event.
I'll quickly give you a resume of the meeting of the communications department, which was really reviewing the new press releases and hopefully the new newsletter that goes out once a month that hopefully people have seen, and it's been posted up everywhere. But if you haven't seen them, there's one on the exit windows, the windows outside. It's also been posted on websites, and that seems to have had good feedback from people, so we'll continue to do that. And I think that's about what the subject matter was, unless anybody has anything to add to that. There's no minutes for that, so I think we do not.
What's the date for the next meeting for that?
31st.
Communications 31st July.
What time? 2
Uh,
o'clock in the afternoon?
could be if you wanted.
No, I don't.
What time do you
I
want?
have to work.
I know. What time's good for you?
Well, either very early or later.
Nine-
Anything after
9:30?
4?
Oh,
Yeah, or 9:30 is fine, yeah.
Okay.
If that's okay for everyone else.
9:30?
Yeah, we did make a time, didn't we?
I think we agreed the time, but I think it took him.
Oh, no, I think it was you, yeah, 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
was it?
I think
Yes, it was, I
took
think
him,
4
yeah.
o'clock.
Does that make it easier for you?
Yes.
Okay. So it's 16:09.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think that concludes item 7. We can move on then to item 8, finance committee minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance Committee, Property Committee met just Tuesday on the 15th of July at 10 o'clock. The minutes are in front of you. There's one or two small recommendations there regarding the things which I think was important. We are going to have a working party just looking at pricing of the council, just to check other councils' pricing, and also the method of us charging for all our services in the future. So we're going to come back to the Finance Committee about that. And the working party of myself, Councillor Atkinson, Haveley and Jane are going to meet regarding efficiencies and cost-saving services and better working practices of the council in general, and just take one or two items every month and see if we can find better ways of doing things. So you will see that will come in over the next few months. Other than that, I think it's quite a good meeting. Anyone take any questions if anybody has any?
Any questions? No, thank you. Those do I have a second?
Sorry, Tracy, is this where I need to mention what I've mentioned?
Yes, shall we just get the minutes done and recommend it first?
Okay.
Propose if you wish.
I propose.
Oh, I can say a second. Okay, John, second. All those in favour? Thank you, that's carried.
I think I've ended up on the Finance Committee by default. It's not, it's not a request, and so I've not attended any of the meetings because I didn't think I was part of the committee, but my name was ended up there.
Do you wish to be on?
No, thank you very much.
Is the committee quorums without hours? Yeah.
It'll be 6, not 7, from general vacancy or. we can
Okay,
have
we'll let you off
vacancy.
the hook then.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so moving on then to item 7. Sorry, item 9.
8B.
8B, sorry, I've missed it again. 8B, which I think is John.
Thank you, Chair. Councillors, Councillor Morgan and I have examined the accounts for June 2025, and under the delegated authorities, the Planning Committee confirmed that 15 payments in the sum of £8,581 have been authorised and paid. Of these 15 payments, 4 have already been paid for £663.12. The statement of balances on the following accounts are to be accepted. Current account, £37,208.19. Business premium account, £28,744.13. Business premium account, £843.01. CCLA Public Sector Deposit Fund, £51,547.13. The Instant Access account has £43,380.95, and our current account, £55,467.89, which makes a total of £217,192.85. Our income for June 2025 was £10,974.57, and our expenditure was £35,701.80. Our income to date, 1st of April to 30th of June of this year, was £200,331.78, and our expenditure to date, 1st of April to 30th of June of this year, was £120,347.57. Our employee payments paid for the month of June 2025 were £18,321.26. Peter?
Thank you very much.
I second it.
You second that. Okay, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. That's unanimous. So that item is passed. Item 9 then is planning, and actually we've not had an official planning meeting. They've all been really, I think we had a couple of tree movements and things like that, so we actually haven't sat for a planning meeting this moment, so, and the Dean isn't here, the chair, so. We now move, ladies and gentlemen, to where we open it up to the public. Before I ask a question from the public, we've had several written questions come in, of which Rick here will read out. He's slightly crazy on that one. And we will answer them, and once we've finished all those, we'll come to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This one, first one's come from Joshua Beattie. Is he in the audience? Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you for your question. Good evening, councillors. A complaint has been raised with both Brightsea Town Council and Tennant District Council regarding the site marked in red on the handout. They're talking about Lime Street, I should say. It's currently leased to several businesses, including a metal fabricator and a truck chassis or repair operator. These activities have resulted in obscene noise, smoke and heavy vehicle traffic, entirely inappropriate for Lime Street's unsealed road. Ample evidence has been documented. The site has also drawn police attention for antisocial behaviour under the current ownership. This has led to an investigation by TDC Planning, and after submitting FOI requests, we've obtained the original planning notice which clearly prohibits general industrial use. Despite having access to this information, the planning office failed to disclose it and issued misleading statements to the contrary. No business should be operating on the site for industrial purposes, period. We have now been informed that the council will not enforce against these violations. Instead, they've invited the owner to submit a new planning permit application to regulise B2 general industrial use and intend to approve it. They've also instructed the owner to operate as before. We might add that the site now has obscured security cameras looking up Lime Street and the gates are locked shut when the work on site is undertaken. Their justification to not enforce singularly relies on an assertion that the site has been used for such purposes for over 10 consecutive years, allegedly verified by residents. As neighbours for over a decade, we know this to be untrue. We also have supporting statements from other long-term residents and others connected to the site that unequivocally prove the falsity of this position. Our question to you, our council representatives, is: will you commit to challenging the Tennant District Council decision not to enforce and to oppose any application relating to the site that allows B2 general industrial use on the Lime Street as it is within the scope of your legal powers? We ask for any planning application to be subject to full scrutiny, including input from Essex Highways, Essex Fire Services, Historic England, given the proximity of the Grade 1 listed Jacobs Hall and the Environment Agency and relevant upper authorities. The Lime Street character is to be preserved and residents can enjoy peace and safety in their homes. We have built a good grounds movement with successful petition and strong appetite in the community to challenge such a development, and welcome any council who wishes to view a video evidence and the nuisance behaviour and supporting planning, documentation and correspondence to verify our statement. I hope I gave your question to you.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll answer that as Vice Chair of Planning, and we've already had a very quick conversation, but obviously I'm in the situation where I can't predetermine a planning permission I haven't seen yet, or planning application I haven't seen yet. But what I can answer is that industrialisation of Lime Street is not in this council's plan and never has been. There have been several attempts to do that, and the latest one ended up in an appeal where it lost, i.e. the application to industrialise lost, and there's a repeat of such an application even earlier than that. And in very recent times, there's been an application that's been turned down by the planning authority, the supervisor, sorry, that again for building in that area, as it's seen as a protection area for the, and I can't remember the actual term now, but I think it's the coastal protection zone. I think that's the right one. So we have been upholding that and assuming that to be correct. Having said that, we haven't seen the application, and as I say, predetermination doesn't allow us to comment on that until we've seen it, but you can hear from us what the policy is, and we will take that up. And may I also suggest that if you're having problems with the type of stuff you were saying, such as smoke and dust, I would make an application to the Environmental Agency as well, which would possibly assist your application. So what I can say to you is your evidence and all the other information you have would be welcomed when we have a planning application.
Yeah.
So, remembering, of course, that we are a consultee, we're not statutory consultee, but
Yeah.
we will obviously put our opinion to that.
Yeah, I respect that, and thank you very much for your comments. It's very helpful. The whole decision to not enforce has been insinuated that a member of this committee, this body, has spoken to the planning officer and given misleading information. So that it shouldn't have even been brought to this point. He's using that false information to claim that the land's been used for 10 years or more, when I have spoken to the previous user of the land who didn't agree with what was being said. And the problem is that this officer has used that as a basis to not enforce penalties when it should be enforced, because it's still, these people are still on the site, the multiple businesses.
Right.
And we have multiple videos, hours of evidence and testimonies from locals to say otherwise.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to pass over to Councillor Chapman, who has some comments on
Just to make councillors aware, there is covenants on London Street, and as far as I'm aware, and nobody's ever told me anything different, these covenants have never been upgraded or altered. And the covenant basically is, there's no transport allowed between the 10th of October to the 10th of March, other than access to your garages, your back gardens. No other vehicles, equipment or cranes can be kept on site. The size of the boats, caravans, storages have got a weight limit on it. Bear in mind that the whole, most of Lime Street is either small allotments. I'm looking, if you look from the High Street end on the left-hand side, it's small allotments and boat storage. On the right-hand side, as Josh just said, where this unit was, the people who owned it are local people. It's been sold on a couple of times since he retired. Who repair boats and do small things. The original planning application also states no power tools, and again, none of this has been upgraded to be anything else. As the Mayor has said, we can't make comments on a planning application that isn't in, but what I'm asking is that council, if it comes in, when it comes in, the council gives me permission to call it in, which means that we can attend and speak on it. That's not predetermining any application, but it does make the tendering planning officers give them full reasoning publicly. It also means the whole of the committee get to decide on an application, and it doesn't fall down to one planning or one enforcement officer. There's lots of, Chris has said, there's been lots of appeals down there, 6 I've traced down so far, and the final one actually states that it shouldn't be developed in any way. I'm going to jump in a little bit more to say, I feel that as a council we should be writing to the enforcement officers and the planning department to say that all work is suspended on this site until they are in or not. Again, we can't predetermine, the legal planning permission is granted.
Okay.
So I'm asking for council's permission that we send that in on the hope that it will be suspended as of now.
I think that's very fair, Jade, and I'd be happy to second that.
Mick, just before we go to
I'd just say that, just to be on the careful side, then we have to say that call-in is an option. It's not something that we are, as you say, going to do. It's an option that is available to the district councillors, and that depends on the case before us. So just say that that's not being agreed here, because it could actually influence the planning. process. So, and just on the enforcement, if, I'm not sure what enforcement has actually been looked at or taken place, so maybe we could ask for a visit from enforcement rather than.
It was enforcement who came down.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And
Okay.
he's saying that it's been worked for over 10 years, and so they have what you and I would call swatches
Well,
rights,
maybe we need
which
to
isn't
go
right.
on.
It's only been worked for the last 2 years.
You need to be higher than the officer.
I think the complaint is going higher,
Yes.
and I can tell you, Josh has just intimated that he spoke to a planning officer of Brightonsea. He came and met Julie, and he actually phoned me to say that if it ever went to court, the legal document that states no power tools, that would be passed because time has moved on. And I think they're just jumping the gun a little bit. So
I think that's either Julie's, that time has moved on, they had power tools when they wrote that.
Yeah.
Just the power tools might have moved on, but not the
to
effect.
me, they say the actual wording is that the enforcement officer would support an application. It's making them predetermined, not us.
As a judge,
Okay, I want just a couple of other things. Please be aware that the planning meetings here are public, so please attend. And obviously you have the opportunity to make your points all over again when it goes to the tendering council, which I'm sure you will. And if I can again maybe say that another avenue for you is the environmental agency, if you're suffering from smoke or any other of the industrial type of side effects of this thing.
Fantastic.
Okay?
Yeah.
I think we've got as far as we can to.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I
You
take
still-
my recommendation?
Yes, I'm sorry,
forward
yes.
That we write into, and I think.
I'm very happy to say.
Okay, then, all those in favour? Okay, yes, and we'll send the letter. I'm jumped in front of you there. so-
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Okay, so that's question number 1. Back to you, Rick.
The next question we have, I haven't received it. This is from Robbie Longhurst, is he here?
Yes.
Sorry. Allotments, thanks for stripping the vacant plots, but if there is a waiting list, why are there vacant plots? The 2 plots closest to mine have been uncultivated for over a year. This is income being lost. That's the first question.
Okay, so I've, Julie, our administrator, looks after all of this, and I have replied to her that the lots that have become available over the last few years is 1, 10, 23, 37, 58 and 42. However, these have become available at different times during the year. And as soon as they become available, we start looking for replacements on the list, who then take them over. But none of this has been concurrent, they've all been happening at different times of the year. They have now all been taken up by new residents, with the exception, and I think the one that's still out is 42. So number 42 is still looking for, or have offered it to somebody and have yet had the reply that they'll take it up. As far as I'm concerned, all of these people have paid an annual fee, and if they haven't paid for an annual fee, we would have then made them available. So there's no loss of income on any of this. And I'm sorry that the ones that are near you have not been cultivated, but they are all paying. So I'm not sure if we can tell you who they have, but maybe you should leave a note on that plot. Okay, yeah.
We do get a monthly visit? Yeah, monthly. And if we're not cultivated, we get a letter saying, do it or get off.
Right, okay, well, it would have gone out from Julie because she's very efficient at this, but it's not a short process to say from that to then saying, okay, we don't have it anymore. And in fact, I was talking to one lady, she was telling me about one lady that's taken 5 months to make that decision. Okay, but it is monitored quite closely.
Second question from Robbie. The renovation of the shelter next to the Lido has taken months, and work seems to be happening at the weekend only now. When the contract was drawn up, was a timescale with penalties included, and if not, why not?
Right, that's me as well, because that was my project. There were no penalties included in the contract. We were we went ahead with them after viewing about 6 other applications for it. They were the most sensibly priced, and I can say that we are extremely disappointed with their performance. Terry has actually said that if it isn't finished quickly, we will have to talk to our solicitor, so we're at that level. However, I think you'll find that the shuttering went up yesterday, and I don't know if they've bought this event, I haven't been down
It went in Sunday, the shuttering.
it. Oh, well, Sunday did it?
Yeah, and nothing's happened since then.
Okay,
But,
well, we-
it's a footprint.
Terry was given an assurance that it would happen this week. So we watch, but he has informed the supplier that if it hasn't happened this week, then we receive a letter from our solicitors. So, going on to why there was penalties, I'm somewhat experienced in this. If you put penalties in, I can say that you would increase the cost by 20%. So it's a toss up whether you want to do that. And to be perfectly frank, we were assured that it would be done by the beginning of July. They started 4 weeks later, of which we got very agitated, and Terry, I would say, has been on the phone to them once a week. And I think what they've done is they've taken this work on and got another contract, and they're trying to fit it in. And I have already told them, and I know Terry said the same, their name is all over this. This is not reflecting on their business's name. Unfortunately, at this point, and remember, we've only paid half of this. There's very little we can do because we can't find somebody else to start it. But I think we'd look very closely if we were to be contacted by them again or offered a quote from them again. I'm afraid we are where we are. It's 3/4 of the way done. And hopefully, it will be finished in the next week or two. Well,
Question 3. A repeat of my question from last month. Are there any updates on the missing bins, street sweeping and pavement sweeping?
I'm afraid that is something I cannot answer because Councillor Steady is normally our expert on that. He isn't here today. And we can pose that question to him and send you a written answer. Oh,
I did notice something the other day, and that was the road sweeper was going down the road. But obviously, because all the cars parked either side,
Yeah.
you're never going to get, it's never going to be clean. You're just going to get the middle clean. The weeds are still going to grow, and
The street sweeping,
it's
I
almost like
think,
we need like a letter. You know, like we get the recycling bins.
Yeah.
We're told what dates you're getting bins. Maybe we should have what dates the roads are going to be cleaned. Maybe we might actually have to put our cars on the drives and off.
I'm certainly agreeing that we should try that, but I'm not sure that's success rate.
The
I
real,
move my car. Weeds are driving me
Chair, the real
mad.
problem is in the long term.
Yeah,
So, because the street sweeper actually came up Town Street this morning,
yeah.
Yeah, up the middle.
5:30 in the morning.
Up the middle.
Well, you know, had to, right? There's no other way he could go up. We did ask our representatives from District Council if they could talk to the contractor to see if he could perhaps alter his timings when
Change
he
it to
came
when
off
people are at
people
work.
were at work.
Yeah.
Yes, I think Councillor Steady looked at the ENT meeting, a list of streets that, and how often they were supposed to be cleaned.
Right.
Every 8 weeks, I think, was the average. Yeah, the average. I can say, I think I've lived in my house 12 years now, and I've probably seen the street cleaner twice.
Probably sweet.
No, definitely not. So I would make the question, are they being visited every 8 weeks?
So I'll allow a quick supplementary.
It's just, I did a FOI request about the regularity of the street sweeping and pavement sweeping, and apparently it is being done every week and every month.
Pavement.
Pavement is being done weekly in Sydney Street, because I only did it for my road, obviously, because that's where I live. It's being swept weekly. It gave me the dates of the sweeping, and it's being, and I did pass that to you last year, didn't I?
Yeah.
So, when I gave it to you, I said, this is fraud, because they've given me dates that did not happen.
And we sent it over to Veolia, straight from Tenby to Veolia, and said, comment on this. I'm not certain we ever had an answer to it, so.
It's
The sweeping definitely comes round the green once a month. Once a month, at least.
I think,
Sorry, Karen.
Just because obviously I live on Marsh Way, is that classed as a nature reserve then? Because we've got more weeds than path. It actually is more like a jungle, parts of it.
I think part of the
I'm actually going to go with my little hoe and start clearing it because it's driving me mad.
So you've done that, so can you?
Unless I get in trouble with like
Yeah, no, you won't get in
any
trouble.
wildlife watchers or whatever.
So
And
I'm
we have
not,
a path to walk on.
I'm not sure if we could really help you in that. It is
I'll
something that
just
needs to
keep
be
going.
taken up with Tendry.
I'll come back next
With the
month.
district, yeah.
Last question from Ravina. With the amount of vehicles being parked on pavements in Brightlingsea, some roads are no longer suitable for two-direction traffic. Is it too dangerous? What is the procedure to suggest roads becoming one-way? Alan Goggin advised the proposal for any changes needs to come from us, BTC.
Okay, so I've spent nearly all day researching this. What is generally the way this is done, and I have experienced it in another place where this has been a situation. Some sort of collection of people get together and put in a thing. So it will need you to go down to the street that you feel should be a one way, and get a list of people that agree with you. I haven't been able to actually find that, but I can pass you the experiences of the school down here, which wanted red lines around it. And you need to get a 75% majority of the people that live on that street to ask for the application. It doesn't mean you get it, but that allows you to ask. So that is the type of thing you're looking at. If you come back with 20 people that want to do it, we're willing to help you collect more numbers, but I think you need at least 20 in that street. I have my personal experience. This has happened in Bury St Edmunds when I was involved there, and we had about 100 people from this street, which is about 200 houses in it, requesting that, and they were all very positive they wanted it until they got into a room. And what was very interesting and slightly amusing is they were completely divided into which way the one way should be. So I'll pass you that information purely that if you want to get people on other people with this idea, if there's enough people, we can put it to the test, see if we can get 75 people. And that's the way that type of thing happens. Okay. John.
Chair, this council has been dealing with this over a number of years, and there's been previous councillors have actually created an award-winning scheme whereby you can come in here. We've got little stickers that you can place onto the car for inconsiderate parking. Now, I noticed, as I live in Tower Street, you notice that in Sydney Street, some of that inconsiderate parking is almost in people's living rooms.
I'll put it out my front door.
There you go. So I would suggest perhaps you talk to Tracy, we still got some stickers, I think.
Yeah.
But we also looked at, Chair, we also looked at putting diagonal parking there on one side, Sheffield parking. We looked at seeing if we could put residence parking. That would just increase the cost for all you chaps. And I hate to say this, you've just got to be patient, and you've got to talk to these people nicely and say, please don't park in my living room.
Well, all I can say is that's the process I've found out.
Thank you.
Why don't we just bring back the parking initiative then?
The
Parking initiative that we want.
It's still there. We're still
But
got it.
we don't use it.
People don't come in and get the stickers in.
No, the parking wardens used to go around.
Yeah,
It was nothing really to do with us.
so maybe we can find a way of reinstating
Parking again to go and put them on the.
because I would happily take that role on if I can, if I'm allowed to.
But I think I don't know enough about that, so we can do a bit of research.
Yeah.
we did bring up not this bit, but we did bring up inconsiderate parking at the police meeting with Sergeant Nathan Pearson, and he was going to pass on to the PCSOs because they were the ones that were going out doing it when it's
Okay.
so we might want to drop him a note and say, have you done that?
So this, sorry.
We had the tendering ambassadors in town yesterday. They walked through the car park here and they actually stopped somebody about parking and all the ladies doing. And moved them on, they blew, yeah. So, and they've said that they're going to try to start walking around more as well. They went for a walk up to the red. They were in town all day. They never left till 4 o'clock.
What are they? Sorry.
They're ambassadors. So they were. they are seasonal, but they do work alongside the police, they're tendering staff. They don't have any, no powers, but they went up because they were kitted out and looked a little bit official, it was guarded movement.
So stickers that we've got in the office still, we've got a good quantity left? No. No. We get some more made up?
Okay, well, what I suggest we do is, why don't we take, we don't need to decide this now, why don't we take it to ENC and also find out who the ambassadors are, and then we can get a more. Okay, so this subject, a running subject, as you heard, sounds as if it's been going on for years. I suggest if you want to take it further your end, if you can get some more support, because obviously one person asking, if it's 20 people asking, it starts to become more of an issue, and we can develop it from there.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any?
No, that's it.
That is it, so,
Uh,
sorry, we have one more written one, sorry.
So this was sent in earlier on.
Oh, sorry, can I just, I'm here.
Oh,
If you
sorry,
don't
I haven't
mind,
seen it.
no, I didn't see you. It's actually regarding, Western Road. And if you walk up the road from Lower Park Road, there's a hedge
Yes.
and it belongs to 61 Lower Park Road. I live at number 63. I do know the neighbour there, however, he doesn't reside there anymore. Now, to walk up that road like I've done now, to walk up that path, I've had to walk in the road, which means I've had to go around cars because it's brambles.
Right.
Now, and Alan Goggins not here to defend himself, but Alan Goggin has been to me and suggested I talk to my neighbour. Now, we are on good terms, you know, we do text it. A neighbour doesn't live there anymore. So any letter that could be sent to him would just fall on deaf ears because he doesn't live there.
Right.
This is a danger. It is a road that leads to the school. And I'm a grandparent, so I take my children there. Literally today, I walked the other side, but I've literally had to take them out onto the road because of the hedge. All I'm asking, I'll do it myself if it comes to it, but we've even spoken to his gardener and he said he doesn't see it as a problem. It is an issue. This is brambles now grown out of it. And I just think, do you know what, for the safety of anybody, this is not children, but it's adults, an elderly person, just cut that hedge. A part of it is now falling into the road as well. But how do you do that when you can't get hold of the person? I can get hold of the person, I've actually got his number.
Right.
But I'm his neighbour. And in the 30 odd years I've lived there, I've never fallen out with a neighbour.
I'll just take, Karen.
It's not just as well the fact that it's like brambles, it's actually creating a blind spot for people to drive out.
Exactly.
We've been working on that blind spot for a while, and we have come to the conclusion that maybe that does, I don't understand it, need to come down. Am I saying the wrong things? I don't understand that. We think it needs to come down.
It does.
So the visibility, because there's no visibility. You do actually have to pull right out to even get past that tree.
Okay, well,
Bush, sorry.
do you, so if we write to him, you're saying that one?
He's not living there. According to, and perhaps I don't know whether this is out of context, Mr. Goggin, he's now in a care home. Now, that was none of my business. I don't know where this gentleman's living, but I don't know if
Is there
he's
nobody living on that
There's
site?
nobody living on there. So Mr. Nape, who lives there, used to reside there once a week, and now he no longer resides there. We don't know why. We have kind of tried to communicate him and come up with, are you okay? He doesn't reply to any of that. It is an empty residence, so any post, anything just goes on the doormat. So you could send him a fine, you could tell him to cut it. He will not be there to do it.
Okay. Well, my immediate reaction to that is that we will take that official route in writing to him, but in that, I think we will state that if nothing has happened in 14 days, whatever we think is 28 days, we will ask. Sorry?
It's 21 days according to that.
21 days, we will then ask one of our staff to cut it clear, because I think it's, if it's dangerous, particularly in the child area.
So this is the legally we're not allowed to do that.
Sorry?
Legally, it's only Essex.
Okay,
Essex
I'll
and the
take,
highways will follow.
I'll take
This
this.
is why I kept saying,
Okay,
us
I'll,
writing to them is just,
yeah, I'll take the risk, I'll do it. I mean, this is just ridiculous, it is moribund by politics. So leave it with us, we'll write our letter and we'll try and contact him and see what we can. Okay? No, I'm not doing yours.
One, just an observation, if you make one-way streets, you increase the speed of traffic. That is a known fact.
Yes. Yes.
We was talking about waste bins. About a year ago, I brought up the subject about the ones at the bottom of the YMCA car park,
Right.
which are removed. There is a need for them. A member of the public now puts a plastic bag on the chairs for people to put rubbish in. So that proves there is a need for that bin to go back in place.
Right. Well, we'll make that. The district councillors,
YMCA, no, it's tendering, they were tendering things.
They were reporting that they were
we'll reinforce that. Any other questions from the public? Yes.
I've been asked by a friend of mine to ask the council, can you have an update on the Robinson Road development, please?
Yes, going on, councillor.
There is no update basically because they're still waiting for Natural England to get the
To get rid
report
of the
on the
colours.
pervious.
Yeah, that's what I told
So
him.
there is nothing, it's just a total standstill at the moment.
Okay, thank you, Jane.
Okay, do we have any, yes,
Promenade Way, what is the decision with somebody parking on the road and using a generator on the road? Could you, are they allowed to do that?
it's a complicated answer, which I'm not going to bore you with. We have brought this up with the police, and we are also looking at another, and I can't remember what the term was. It was making it sounded like making an exclusion area or something. But there is no direct reason immediately that the police can go up and move him on. Because we've asked them, in fact.
So anybody I can go out and put a generator in my road?
This was the answer we had from the police. We are pursuing this because.
Oh, yeah, I'll have a camera.
And last time, discussion with the police last time was to apply, and there was some discussion about dispersal. Thank you very much. But there was some discussion about whether we had to apply to a magistrate for that or whether they did.
And just one other thing about that, and I was talking to somebody from the caravan site, somebody pulled up and they parked overnight and then threw the urine down the steps.
Yeah, now
That's, yeah.
Yeah, if that can be proved, then I think we can get him moved on much quicker because of that.
Yeah, not him, but that's not him. This is another one just turning up.
So the message to you, it's on the workload, it's there. We're talking to the police about it, but there didn't appear to be an instant solution.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about the urine incident with you.
Yeah, no,
you make sure of that.
I'll just say that on the Promenade Way, that is it's on the discussion list with the North Essex Parking Partnership for to look at a potential no overnight stays for that stretch of road. Because I think that's the problem, the caravans parking up generators and stuff. So, you know, but like most things, it will take some time to implement, but I have asked them to do some report for me on that.
Yeah, that's fine, thank you. Yeah, that's fine, thanks.
Okay, are there any other questions? Yes.
Well, I was just going to say that Western Pond, what's on their sort of days now, and the number of camper vans, and there was actually an actual caravan with a unit, generator unit, next to it, half long.
Yeah,
that's what it's was there no bylaws?
No, well, I can say that in the committee we were taking it quite seriously because one leads to two and two leads to four and four leads to eight if we're not careful. So we want to react to it, so we are on the case, but there isn't an instant click your fingers and you'll go. We might have to go through this dispersal, but we will have to. a resident expert.
Unless there's some sort of parking.
Yeah.
fairly silly point, I suppose. Actually, I've noticed dog mess hasn't come up very often lately. Is there any bylaw about horses? Horses are very much larger. Archaic law dating back to the 1700s when horses were prevalent.
I think you'll find, according to Ricky, that horses are allowed to do it.
Yeah, it's a natural biowaste, it's not, TT.
It's not toxic, is it?
It's not
Countryside.
toxic.
You can eat it.
Really, up to you.
I believe it goes way back in, British, history that things like his.
That's what I thought.
Okay, are there any other questions? No? Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll therefore move on to item 11, which is town plan.
Thank you. Franklin Scene District Rotary Club requests permission to use the Learning Gardens for Ulrich's Job Walk Run event taking place on 14th of September, 8 AM to 2 PM. And I'm pleased to say that there are lots of volunteers to help.
Good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Motorhome Fund are inquiring about hiring of lower park lane fares for a motorhome rally, 1st of June to 3rd of June 2026.
How much do you charge for that?
Well, that's
Off
good.
the top of my head, I can't, about 100%.
We're looking at the price, based on prices.
Yeah, there is a
That's something we
charge.
should look at, I agree.
There is a charge.
Yes,
Are we using the historic charge? Or we use the special charge?
No, the usual charge.
Usual charge. Okay.
Contrary to all the usual regulations.
Yeah.
Why don't you just park on Promenade Way?
We don't want to.
Oh.
We want to charge.
There's no room there.
They're all gonna move.
And the last one is James Richards Circus would like to return to the Western Promenade next June, arriving in the afternoon of Wednesday the 17th until Sunday the 21st of June, with shows being held on Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Is that the same people who came last year? I think it is. Isn't it?
They have been before. Yes.
Well, I thought that was the most amazing circus. I really enjoyed it. It was excellently done. It was very professional. It was a really good thing to go to. So I'm very much like that comes again.
It's a good advert for
Yeah, no, seriously.
I'm trying to pay it.
No. It was, I was quite enlightened by it. I thought it was brilliant.
I'm assuming therefore we agree with that?
I do.
Usual conditions.
Usual
The
conditions.
usual conditions, okay. Thank you very much.
That's
Anything
it
else?
from me, no?
Okay, thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got through that in an hour and a half, which I'm not too displeased with. So thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you for your questions. We hope you've answered them well as close as we can, and we'll come back to the ones that we haven't been able to by letter. So thank you very much for your vote. Thank you. Declare the meeting closed.
It's not, why?